This is going to be a little mini series for you all about phrases that work. There have been a few phrases that I have just really started using consistently, and it has changed the game with conversations. And so I thought, why not bring this to the podcast so that you can have something quick and easy to listen to and remember and then start using immediately. So let's get started with our first phrase that's really going to help you get clarity around a situation. Here we go. I want to kick off today with a story about my son and how me pausing and asking this one question, it eliminated stress. It eliminated an argument. It really helped me see his perspective and appreciate him more, which at the time of this question coming out of my mouth, I was not appreciating much. And so let me show you how this one phrase can really shape your situation. A little bit of background is my son is 8 years old. He is total athletic junkie who loves to have fun and be outside. And I have an older daughter who is kind of the opposite in the sense that she is very structured and likes things step by step. My son typically needs many reminders about what he needs to do, whether that be throwing away a wrapper after he eats something out on the couch or clearing his plate after he eats a meal. And the situation we were running into is I continued all summer long to find his clothes, like his dirty clothes, next to the hamper in the bathroom, literally touching the hamper, which is where dirty clothes go, right? And it wasn't all the time, but it was enough that I was like ready for a conversation. And so here I was walking into the bathroom one night and being like, are you kidding me? Why are there clothes on the floor again? Now, backing up a little bit, my son is outside usually by 8:30, 9 a.m., playing with friends in the neighborhood. They are running, they are getting dirty, they are playing sports, they are hanging out and looking at Pokemon cards, and some days when the weather is hot, they are having water balloon fights and pouring water over their heads and running through sprinklers. Little did I connect the dots that was something going on. So when I saw one night that there are clothes for maybe the 10th time this summer sitting on the ground in the bathroom next to the hamper, I was ready to just blow up. And instead, I was like, hey, buddy, can you come here for a second? So he walks up over next to me and I'm like, hey, do you see the clothes on the floor next to the hamper? And he's like, yeah. You know what? I put my wet clothes next to the hamper because I don't know if you know this, but that vent that's right there actually blows air on them and dries them so that I'm not putting soaking wet clothes in the hamper the next morning. Not only was he being responsible, he was listening to things I have also said all summer, which is wet clothes don't go crumpled up in the hamper. Now, I usually ask that wet clothes go down into the laundry room and hang on our sink down there. But how thoughtful that he noticed his clothes were wet and that he should not put them in the hamper. And typically when he's changing out of these wet clothes, he's jumping right into the shower. So it's not like he's going to go drop those clothes off downstairs and run back upstairs, right, without clothes on. And so he was literally forward thinking and thinking of me and what I appreciate about the bathroom and about how to clean up after yourself. And so I didn't even, you know what, you guys, I didn't even think about if the next morning those clothes are still there. But then he told me, so I said, oh, so you leave them there to dry? And he's like, yep. And then in the morning I put them in the hamper. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, so what could have gone like this? Landon, why are your clothes on the floor? You need to put them in the hamper. To which he probably would have responded with yelling back to me about how they were wet and he didn't want to put wet clothes in the hamper and he was trying to be respectful, right? And that would have come head to head. Instead, I took a step back and I went, tell me about the clothes on the floor. And that is the phrase I'd love for you to start using. Tell me more about blank. Let's take this to a work example. You have a staff member who is constantly telling you they are stressed out. Oh, I'm so stressed. I'm so busy this week. And you could respond with something like, me too. Oh, it's such a busy week. School's starting next week and I feel crazy. Or you could respond with, oh, tell me about that. What's got you stressed this week? And they start to share, and then you say, and tell me what kinds of things are you going to be busy with outside of work? And now just watch as your employees' tone and energy starts to go down because they are verbally processing with you and being able to share more about that stress instead of just holding on to that stress and holding on to that, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy. But when they need to put words to it, it actually causes them to pause and think through what is making them feel so stressed and so busy. And so then you can respond accordingly. Maybe you could respond with something like, is there anything I can do to help you this week? Or maybe you can say, that sounds like a lot. Is there anything on your list that you could delegate? Do you see how this phrase could just take that high-paced, hyper-stressed energy just down? Now I want you to think about a spouse situation. You are at home and this is me. I'll talk a little bit about my spouse situation. I am home all day with the kids, and then I am usually making supper, and my husband will come in and he will sit down. And this has gotten me very stressed out in the past because your wife is in the kitchen working so hard and has been working all day, trying to get work done in the office, but also keeping humans healthy and safe and get to and from summer activities. And now she's in the middle of making food and you sit down. And so one day I literally had to say to him, hey, I noticed that you come in the door and you sit down right away. Can you tell me about that? And one day the clarity comes out that my husband's been having some feet issues. So he's been having some plantar fasciitis. He works on his feet all day. He is a hog farmer. He does not sit down at work. He is an extremely hard worker. He's up very early and he comes home around supper time. So he's been doing a lot of hours on his feet. And the last thing he wants to do is stand in our hardwood floor kitchen because his feet hurt. And so we were able then to have a whole conversation about his feet and maybe what he should be wearing and different insoles he could put in. And then we talked about, hey, if I could just give him a little time to sit and put his feet up, then he will be more willing to help in the kitchen, but not right when he walks in the door. And just like think about how much clarity this gave us as a unit, as a family structure, right? And so really think about how tell me more about that gives the other person space, verbal processing, time to process, an open ear who's going to listen to them, and you as the leader there to help them take the next steps. I want to know if you use this. Please shoot me a message over on Instagram at AnnVote. That's ANNVOTE. Send me a DM and let me know if you start using this phrase and what you notice about the people that you are talking with. Because let me tell you, you will see a shift, a physical shift And it might be, like I said, the tone in their voice, that physical shift that they take. It might be that they start breathing slower. It might be their shoulders drop a little bit. But let me tell you, there will be a shift, and you're going to now be so keen on noticing it and taking that step back and that pause for yourself to put yourself in a way to help them now that you've gotten really clear on what is going on with them. There are a few of you out there right now listening and saying to yourself, but Anne, I don't care. I don't care that Susan has a lot going on outside of work. And I don't care that Rebecca is running to and from school to pick up her kids and drop them off, and it's causing a shift. As long as she's getting her work done, I really don't care. Let me tell you what being a leader is all about. And let me remind you that when you do care, you build trust, and that actions move at the speed of trust. And the people that you are growing trust with, you are going to see more action, more productivity, more openness, more willingness to fail, and more willingness to achieve. So if you at one moment during this podcast thought to yourself, I don't have the time for that, I want you to think about, what if it works? What if you giving Susan 3 minutes on a Monday makes her more productive for the rest of the week? What if you give Rebecca 5 minutes on a Friday as she is processing her following week? And it buys you back hours next week. Because instead of complaining and feeling like she's not heard or understood, she is taking more action. That's what you're going to gain. And I want you to know it will work. It will work. Please give it a try. I can't wait to hear from you on this strategy or this phrase. And I also just want to remind you, if you have ideas for episodes, please, please, please find me and send me a message. You can hit me up at Instagram. That's at AnnVote. You can send me an email at impact@annvote.com. Those are the easiest ways to find me. But I want to hear from you. I want to know what you are enjoying from this podcast, but also what strategies are you looking for? I recently had a listener send me a message saying she would love to know how to react to her boss being a micromanager. So that'll be coming up in the podcast really soon. I'm excited for that episode. Send me your thoughts. Give me your feedback. I am here for you to help you and myself learn and grow as a leader. And that is exactly what we are going to do so that we can create change. Come on back for more. We have another phrase coming at you that's actually a question that you are going to be able to use when you feel like people are questioning you. When people might be questioning your authority or question why we're doing something a certain way. And this question is going to also help you gain extreme clarity and be able to form your answer in response in a very respectful but yet efficient way. I cannot wait to share more. Come on back.